Brad, how's it going?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing good. Given sort of the receiver situation of what it might look like this weekend, seems like might have to lean on Chuba even more. How has he kind of shown y'all what he can handle volume wise, if that makes sense?
Sorry, one more
what,
time. Who are we talking about?
Yeah, Chuba. Sorry.
Chuba?
Like, yeah. How is he built to kind of handle, you know, 20, 25 snaps if need be?
Yeah, I mean, he trains himself. I think I referenced it a while back, but one of the first guys you see coming in the offseason, he's been callousing up his body for a workload for a long time. And then we spent all offseason and then preseason and throughout the season, scheme-wise, just getting him groomed, with what we're asking for and the live reps he's gotten throughout the season. He's done a great job of becoming more dynamic in a bunch of different schemes. So workload-wise, we don't hesitate to give him any different types of runs, but we just always know you get towards the latter half, you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on him. And Bernie does a great job of, letting us know, like, hey, Chuba might need one or two here, but he's the type when you take him out of the game, he's like, no, coach, I'm good. We had a couple running backs go down a couple weeks ago, and Chuba was our last guy, and he was not about to let us take him out of the game for any reason or any contingency plan with receivers or whatever we might have had to do. So you applaud his willingness to take every single snap, but it's just something as coaches, it's our responsibility to make sure we keep an eye on it and trust the next guy up. But he's ready scheme-wise to take on a huge workload and his body too. So it's on us to just make sure that when we see an opportunity to give him a blow, that we give him that.
Awesome. And then one other thing for me, just in your years in Seattle and maybe just in the NFL in general, what's maybe the most impressive thing you've seen Budda Baker do from the safety position?
Oh, I mean, Budda plays so much bigger than he is stature-wise. It's unbelievable. We were just laughing about it in an install meeting here. There's so many safety pressures that he's involved in where he gets to kind of freelance a little bit, and he's in there, throwing his full body into Penei Sewell in Detroit, like as if he's a defensive lineman trying to hold a gap. So I think you couple his athleticism and his natural instincts for the game with his willingness to just put his body on the line. It's impressive that he's, continuing to do it at this level, with an extended period, not being the biggest guy, but just being, fearless in the way he fills gaps, makes tackles in the open field, and then, attacks the ball when he has a chance to do it.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to David Newton, followed by Mike Kay.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well. Wanted to ask you, I was looking at the pass block grades from your line, and I know sacks, except for last week, sacks have been way down, but the pass blocking grades aren't great. How do you explain that, actually?
We all take onus in timing and rhythm of the pass game, I think, is a huge thing. Trying to marry up what we're asking the O-linemen to do, where their help's coming from, and when they do have help, and then when we're asking the receivers to have their eyes for the ball, and Bryce to be ready to deal with it, to deal it out quicker, or some of these you're going to have to hold on for a little bit longer. So I think it's all of us as a unit understanding, like, hey, there's a couple concepts that we're going to ask you to hold on to the ball when you have a good pass rush group like Dallas last week. Like these guys are very exotic in their pressure group this week. They're just going to be certain instances when we need, to be on the same page of looking quicker and then, asking the O-line to hold up.
And I also want to ask you, Robert Hunt, what he tells a lot of stories, it seems like, off the field, just to other teammates and everything. What do you notice about what he's done for you guys off the field?
Who's that? Sorry, one more time.
Robert Hunt.
Oh, Robert Hunt. His energy. I haven't spent time with him other than when we signed him, off the field, outside the building. But the guys, it's infectious. The plays you see in like Vegas when he's celebrating downfield, when he's making, there's another one in Germany when he's celebrating as Chuba's breaking free. That's infectious, and you feel that in the, at practice every day where he's just loose and he's playing confident. And it's a sign of guys falling into their routines as players throughout the practice week, but then also just trusting the scheme and their fit within it. There's always room to improve, but here's a guy who's confident going in every week, and that shows when your personality comes through tape. So we love to see when guys, their personality comes alive, because that just means they're kind of playing free and they're playing aggressive, and the way they want to play, it just trickles down to the next guy, because all of our guys feed off of that energy, just like they feed off the physicality and the extended plays from Bryce or Chuba or some of our playmakers on the perimeter. We love when the O-lineman shows that personality too.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Brad.
Morning, Mike.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. You and Nick Rallis are two of the younger coordinators in the league. You're both younger than like a number of players on your guys' rosters. And I was just wondering, what have you learned in your time as a coach about coaching guys who maybe have more experience, have been through, the rigors of the NFL and earning their respect as a younger coordinator or a younger coach?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is not ever approaching it like you have all the answers. We have a great staff here with a lot of diverse responsibilities that they've had in the past and experience, as well as players, veteran players, leaning on their input and being open to it shows a humility that I think everybody respects. And you don't always get it in the NFL because it's a dog-eat-dog world, and everybody's kind of scratching and clawing for their place in it. But when you have the opportunity to take in good information from valuable resources, no matter where they come from, I think you do earn some respect in that regards. And I know Dave is a first-time coordinator last year. I watched him do it. I watched him listen to guys around him like Harold Goodwin and Joe Gilbert and give their input and their experience of different ways that they did things. So I had a really good example of it last year watching Dave, and he taught me a lot of those lessons along the way. And really, when I first signed up to come out here with him, he told me, he's like, hey, don't feel like you have to have every solution to every problem right away, but just be open-minded to try to search for the right one. There's going to be a lot of different avenues in which you find those solutions, whether it's players or coaches or someone outside the building, whatever it is. But just be having your ear to the ground at all times where those solutions might come from.
Thank you.
Yep.
We'll go to Joe Person next.
Morning, Joe. I think you're muted.
Really struggling with this morning. Sorry about that. Good to see you.
You too.
Was going to ask Dave this yesterday about the Cardinals signing Jamie Robinson, and Dave said, it won't necessarily change y'all's, calls and so forth, but from a defensive standpoint, he was talking about, I think. But how is it is there anything that kind of have in the back of your mind to sort of play that chess game if you think he's going to go over and say X, Y, and Z?
I think here in the latter half of the season, our cards are kind of on the table scheme-wise of what we run. There's always a shuffling around of players that happens. I think every year we've had at least 2 or 3 where it's like, oh, that was a very timely signing, and here we go. Like they're probably spilling the playbook or what they have, but we have a lot of tape out there too that people are studying and that we like to complement off of as well. So it just kind of continues to put the onus on us as coaches to have a great self-scout program and understand, okay, this is probably what they're carding up over there of what we've been successful with, and then making sure that we protect the good concepts that we have with good complements. So I think just really the latter half of the season, there's probably a couple guys out there and the teams that we faced down the stretch that have had access to our playbook.
Yeah, did Pete do that much? Pete and John in Seattle, where it's late this time of year, if there was a guy on waivers and you were getting ready to play them, you'd be like, yeah, let's pick his brain.
Every now and again, I think that kind of it happened. but I don't ever remember it being like an intentional thing. I think the ones you got to watch out for are the quarterbacks. If someone's signing a quarterback this late in the season and there's not an injury, okay, that's kind of like, okay, I get it. This is really trying to get a sneak peek into some of the intricacies of the offense. But yeah, there's enough tape out there where I'm not sure that a signing can give you the leg up in 2 days' time.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right. Any more for Coach?
Awesome.
All
Thank
right,
you, guys.
Coach.